The State Retirement Fund is currently a $7 billion unfunded liability. What steps would you take to bring the state retirement system under control and fiscally sound?
Well, the state retirement fund is also something that's been negotiated under the union, so we have to honor our word, and we have to start today and say, okay, as of today, we are going to change our state retirement system, and we are going to negotiate it with our union if we've got a union there. If they don't want to negotiate it with us, we do just like any other business does, and we say, okay, you cannot milk a dry cow. We are going to have to be here, and if you don't like it and you want to walk out, you want to go on strike, go right ahead. There are a lot of people out here who are without jobs who would like to have your job. That's where we start, and that's how we have to do it. We have to have someone in there with some common sense and some backbone that's willing to say so. Thank you.
Thank you. Frank, any question?
Thank you. I'm a member of the retirement system. And let me say this. There's some union members on that board, but they're not all union. There's civilian too. This governor put somebody on, she left, he paid her. And if you read the papers, you see he does that with other people. I was with somebody for 8 years, and as an option, I could put them in for my retirement. Her and I parted, not divorced, no civil union stuff. I cannot take her off my policy. I can't get the extra couple of bucks a month, nor can I leave it to my son. The retirement system is like other things in this state. It's old hand. It needs to be revamped. And the people here that say get rid of SEA, I think you should do that. I want to see one governor negotiate with 10,000 state employees. That's why there's an RSA. It's not all the people in it that are bad, just some of them. The retirement system, when I was on the board and I was on the negotiation team, I watched what went on. And I have some people, and former Commissioner Stevens knows one of the people. I won't mention his name, but he knows who he is. He's on the retirement system. He does a darn good job for the taxpayers and everybody else, and he's a union member. When this came about, it came to the board, and they said they want to do this, that, and the other thing with the funds that are in the retirement system. The union said no. But the union got blamed. Know who's responsible and accountable. As your governor, you bet your bottom dollar I'll make sure they're held responsible. And I wound up with a disability retirement from the state because of some of the things that go on, because they don't like union people. I didn't join the union. I was a regular worker. And I went there to protect people's rights, including a woman that needed an air conditioner on a toll booth because she had a disease. They wouldn't do it. So I went and I made a call to a governor, and I said, can you do it? They came down and they did it. You don't know who's working in your department or your state. This commissioner has some ideas. He's been there. And I got to say, John was a good commissioner.
Jack?
$7 billion unfunded pension liability. State of New Hampshire. And to think about that number for a minute. Got a friend, new friend, but call him a friend now. Solid News stayed at my house several months ago, and we had a long talk, and one of the issues was this $7 billion unfunded pension liability. And I talked to him about, how do you solve a problem like that? I mean, I'm a businessman. That's a huge number. What do you do? And Saul was an immense help to me. He talked to me about that. And, by the way, this state of ours is just one of many states that have the same problem. It's a huge problem all over the country. And here's how he suggested that we solve it, and I agree with it. I think it's a great idea. It's out of the box, but other states have done it. We've got to solve the problem of the $7 billion. That's the back end of the problem. We do it with life insurance. We purchase life insurance policies on everybody in the system presently. Those that are already retired, those that are about to retire, and the beneficiary is the state of New Hampshire. That more than will take care of that problem as time progresses. It's a great idea. I won't take credit for it. The only credit I'll take for it is that I'm going to use it once I'm there. But the front end of the problem is the big critical mass, because in my view, we have to have a sea change. What we're doing now with the system is unsustainable. There's no conceivable way we can continue to pay this kind of money. So We will go to a 401k type of plan where you get a dollar-for-dollar match. We'll participate that way. And by the way, I agree that every individual in the system at that point should have access and control of their own funds. The state shouldn't be allowed to touch it, and neither should the unions. It should be yours. All the access should be yours, and you should be able to drive that fund, just like the private sector. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. And John?
Well, I just met last week with Representative John Regan from Deerfield. John was on a board or commission that was put together this year by the governor, and he was telling me that the governor had actually taken a few issues off the table for discussion. You know, this is a serious issue. It's a $3 trillion problem nationally. It's a $7 billion problem here in New Hampshire. This has to be, for the next governor, an issue that you've got to look at immediately. That commission that meets, you know, I want to talk to those folks. I want to make sure I work with Representative Regan. I want to work with representatives here. There were 9 bills in the last year to start solving this problem, to move forward, to have long-term stability. Each of them were defeated. There's no leadership at the top. Ladies and gentlemen, that's why we're here. We don't have a governor that can make a decisive decision, that can lead, that can make the right decision to help the people of this state and the taxpayers. This issue is not going away. And I used to be a prosecutor. I worked with law enforcement. I taught police officers at the academy. I know the issue. I know it well, and I know what their concerns are. I worked with state employees, and I know what their concerns are. But you know what? You can't have it the same way anymore. It has to change. And they've got to sit at the table, and you've got to be able to be stern, but also be reasonable, and negotiate, and fix this problem, because it's going to be a worse situation for everyone involved, including school teachers, including towns, on property taxes in the future. So we have got to fix this problem immediately. And again, I go back to, there were 9 different bills this session. There are states all over the country now that are solving this problem going forward. And they're doing it in creative and innovative ways. Let's look at what everyone else is doing and get to work immediately and make it happen.
Thank you, John.